Hey guys, I'm the Comics Kid 2099 and I wanted to talk about something. I have a topic that I want to get off my chest. This is something that's kind of been bubbling under the surface for a long time now, and I just never did do a video on it. I don't really know why. Recently, like today, about 10 minutes ago, I was watching a video where this guy was talking about, basically he was ranting about Hollywood constantly remaking older movies or doing sequels or reboots, stuff like that. He was yelling about that, and this is not something new. This has been a common complaint among audiences for a long time. I can, right off the top of my head, think of 3 fairly big internet personalities that you can find in various videos who have complained about this sort of thing before. And I wanted to kind of offer a counter to this rant that I heard. First of all, I agree. I do agree that we have way too many remakes, reboots, and sequels and stuff like that. I think the general underlying theme of this rant that you will no doubt hear everywhere is that there's not enough originality. They can't come up with new ideas, so instead they're going to do a reboot of the Predator franchise, or they're going to do a sequel to Dumb and Dumber, or they're going to, whatever. There's a lot of different stories where this kind of thing is happening. More often than not, you will hear, I got a cat in my lap, you'll hear about something that was in the works and then it didn't happen. For the longest time, there were rumors that there was going to be a remake of Escape from New York that was going to have Gerard Butler as Snake Plissken, and then that never happened. And then within the last year, they said that they were wanting to do a prequel remake trilogy that does the origins of Escape from New York, which I'm not interested in that at all. I don't think that that's something that needs to happen. But whatever, when you go and watch Escape from New York, all you really need to know is you've got this guy named Snake Plissken, he has an eye patch, and then he goes and does this mission. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know the origins of Snake Plissken or the origins of how the city became a prison. So my counter, like I said, I agree with this sentiment that there's not enough originality and that we need more original stories and films in Hollywood. Here's why it's never going to happen. Audiences don't care about originality. I know that I just said people are always yelling about this. People are saying, why do we only get remakes? Why can't they do good, new, original stuff? It's because audiences are not going to go and watch the original stuff. They are going to eventually do a remake or a sequel to the Ghostbusters franchise. They've been talking for like 15 years about doing Ghostbusters 3, and ever since, not Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, ever since Harold Ramis died, there's even been more talks about how are we going to do Ghostbusters 3. Recently, like 2 years ago, it was 2012 I think, they did a movie called Neighborhood Watch. This had characters like Jonah Hill was in it, Vince Vaughn was in it, that one guy from the IT Men, that British sitcom, he was in it, and basically the premise was you've got these, sorry, my cat is in my lap, you've got these guys who, they form a neighborhood watch and then they start fighting aliens in their neighborhood. I never watched the movie, but if you think about it, that's very similar to Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was a movie where you had these actors who are known for their comical roles. Most of them were alumni from Saturday Night Live, and then you put them in a science fiction comedy movie. Neighborhood Watch, most of those actors are known for their comical roles, and then you put them in a science fiction comedy movie. Now, I don't know right off the top of my head how well the Neighborhood Watch movie did. I know that from an advertising standpoint, they kind of screwed up, because I had like 3 friends who went to go see that, and they did not know that that movie had aliens in it, which I thought that was strange, because I had seen like 2 movies that year where they were more science fictional type movies that I had gone to see in the theater, and both times that I went to go see those movies, they advertised the Neighborhood Watch movie, and they showed aliens in the trailer. So it must have been one of those things where if you went to go and see a non-sci-fi movie, they would not show aliens in the trailer when they were showing that movie. But then if you went to go and see The Amazing Spider-Man 2, or The Amazing Spider-Man 1, this was 2012, then they would show aliens in the trailer. So anyway, I don't know what they made on the Neighborhood Watch movie, but I guarantee you that it was probably about 5 times less than what is going to be made on Ghostbusters 3, because Ghostbusters is a recognizable property. So even if Ghostbusters 3 ends up being a pile of garbage, more people are going to see that because they recognize the name Ghostbusters. And people are just not going to go and watch the Neighborhood Watch movie, even if it has a similar concept and premise to Ghostbusters. You have something like, Pacific Rim. Now, there was at least one guy I'm thinking of who he was recommending that people go and see that movie before he even saw it himself, which that kind of made me angry, because if you are a reviewer, you do not abuse that power by telling people, go watch this movie just because I think it's going to be good. That made me furious. But anyway, that movie apparently did not do too well. I have heard recently that they're maybe going to do a sequel, so maybe it did better than I thought, but I didn't think that movie did very well financially. Again, it's an original property. Then you have something like Transformers, which is basically the same thing, and they make boatloads of money, and now there's going to be a 4th Transformers movie coming out. The reason is Transformers is not an original property. It's something that existed as a toy line and in a cartoon. It's been like 5 or 6 cartoons since the 80s, and then they've done multiple movies. So that is going to do better than something that people have never heard of, which is basically the same premise. You know, one of them is robots fighting robots, the other one is robots fighting monsters. They're not that different. Even if Pacific Rim is better than Transformers, which I'm sure it is, even though I had no interest in seeing Pacific Rim, I'm certain that it was better than Transformers. Even if Pacific Rim is better than Transformers, it's not going to do as well financially speaking. So, in short, I didn't really say anything profound in this video, but I wanted to get to the point of, it is our fault. It is the fault of the audience that we do not have more originality in these movies. If you don't want to see 90% of the movies in 2015 be remakes and sequels and reboots, then don't go and watch Star Wars 7. Don't go and watch the next Avengers movie, because these things are based on things that we've already had. Instead, go watch something like Gravity or Elysium or Her. And you know what? Those movies may not all be good. I haven't heard a whole lot of good things about the Elysium movie. I've heard a lot of good things about Her. I went and saw Chronicle when it came out in theater. Ultimately, I didn't like that movie. I hated it. But you know what? It was an original property, sort of. It was also very loosely based on Acura. But, you know what? That movie, it was an original thing. So I feel like if you are one of these people who you are yelling about, why don't we have more original concepts and stories in Hollywood, you can do something about that. You can go and watch the original concepts and stories in the theater, and you can stop giving your dollar to the stuff that is a sequel or a remake or a reboot. I loved the X-Men movies. I really enjoyed them, and I went to go see X-Men Days of Future Past in theaters. But by giving my money to that project, I am telling the studios that we want another sequel to the X-Men, which personally I do because I like the X-Men. But in not giving my money to, say, I don't know, what's a movie that's coming out recently in theaters? By not giving my money to that, I am saying that we do not want more of that, which is to say, we don't need more original movies in the theater. That's really all I have to say here. Sort of a counter rant to what I've heard multiple times from several different people. Why don't we have more original stuff? Why do they always have to remake stuff? This is why. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And of course, there's other factors you have to keep in that I didn't talk about in this video. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. And I hope you guys liked this video. And if you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys later in the week. Have a great day.